Well, hundreds of thousands of people are on high alert as a series of bombings targets one of America's capital cities. Right now, parts of Austin, Texas are under lockdown after the fourth bomb in less than a month exploded late Sunday. Well, 2 people were injured, but they are expected to be okay. Police believe all 4 attacks are the work of a serial bomber. Our Nick Valencia joins us now. Nick, a serial bomber on the loose, not something anyone wants to hear. This is the 4th bomb in as many weeks, but what was different about this one in comparison to the last 3?
Investigators are saying that in this case, it seems to be a tripwire was used, which makes it different from the last 3 explosions. You have 4 explosions in all in the last 3 weeks, with the first 3 incidents were parcels that investigators say were hand-delivered on the front steps of the victims. So when they went to go pick up these parcels or packages, once that motion happened, those explosions would take place. But in this case, it was seemingly done on a random residential street in southwest Austin, Texas. The other 3 are pretty close in proximity, as you see there on your screen, within about 11 miles of each other. All of these happening since March 2nd. And initially, investigators had not ruled out of the potential of this being perhaps a hate crime, just because at least in the first 2 cases, the victims were connected to prominent African-American families in the city. In the 3rd case, it was a 75-year-old Hispanic woman who was the victim of that, left seriously injured and hospitalized. And we have to remind our viewers that there have already been 2 people killed as a result of these bombings. In this latest explosion, which happened late last night, the victims were a 22-year-old and 23-year-old white male. Investigators really scrambling to try to figure out motive in this case. In fact, Lynda, in a press conference a short time ago, they reached out asking the suspect or suspects in this case to reach back out to investigators. They want to know if there's a deeper message or a broader meaning behind these attacks so far. Right now, they're offering a $100,000 reward. Also, the governor of Texas offering an additional $15,000. And in this new attack, this new bombing in southwest Austin, they are asking people to look at their surveillance monitors, perhaps if they have surveillance cameras at their homes, to see if investigators can glean any new details related to these explosions. Lynda?
Mentioned there are many people under lockdown. Do we know exactly how many people are under lockdown and what it means for them and what they're being told to do?
Well, right now, at least hundreds in this neighborhood, and we know until about 2 p.m. local time, which is about 30 minutes from now or so, that people will not be allowed to leave their neighborhood. That includes school children. So in some cases, students weren't allowed to go to school. School buses weren't allowed to go in and out. No cars were allowed to leave that neighborhood because it is still an active crime scene. And we should remind our viewers as well, there was a big prominent festival. So Austin has swelled in population size because of all of these people going to the South by Southwest concerts, these musical festivals and artist festivals, a festival that happened over the weekend. So a lot of people were still there that may not be local residents from Austin. I know right now, though, we've talked to some people there in the area, and they say they're getting text messages, reverse 911 calls for them to stay indoors because this is just such an urgent situation. Lynda?
Yeah, it certainly is. So 2 injured in the 4th bombing in Austin, Texas. Yeah. Obviously, investigators have a lot of work to do there. Nick Valencia, great to have you with us. Thanks so much. Well, thanks so much for joining us for this edition of CNN Newsroom. I'm Lynda Kinkade. Stay with CNN. CNN Talk is next.